Hey YouTube, French Fried Taters here, and today we're going to be diving into part 2 of my Optimize Act guides. This is a series of guides showing you the fastest routes through the acts by completing only the required steps. Like my Act 1 guide, we'll start with a summary of the required steps, then jump into the walkthrough of these steps. Let's get started. Here are the required steps for Act 2. Defeat the Rathbreaker, defeat Rudja and free Riso, open the Halani gates, fight Jamanra the first time, obtain the Mastodon Tusks, obtain the Essence of Water, obtain the Flame Ruby, defeat Tor Gul, and then finally defeat Jamanra. Now there are a lot of other things to do in Act 2, but this is just the optimized route if you are looking to only complete and get to Act 3 as soon as possible. Here's the fastest way to complete these steps. Starting out in the Vistiri outskirts, we're going to travel out into the desert and find the Rathbreaker and defeat him, and then immediately port back to town and talk to Zarka. Now we should be able to enter the caravan, and we will talk to Shambreen, Sekama Asala, follow her inside and talk to her again. Then we will click the desert map and travel to the Halani gates. Here we will quickly talk to Asala again to find out the gates are closed, go back into the caravan, use the map station, and travel to Mastodon. In Mastodon, we will be searching for the mines. When we find them, go ahead and travel down. Then we will find and defeat Rudja. After defeating Rudja, free Risu, talk to her, and port back to town. In town, we're going to talk to Risu, talk to Asala, use the map, and travel to the Halani gates again. This time it will open into the Trader's Passage, and we are going to search for the Halani gates entrance within the passage. We'll enter the Halani gates and fight through and open the doors with Asala, and then we will continue fighting through until we find Jamanra and fight him until he runs. After he flees, we'll travel down these stairs, head to the edge of the wind in the desert, and port back to town. In town, we're going to talk to Shambreen, talk to Zara, talk to Asala, and then use the map to travel to the Mastodon Badlands. Here we are going to search for the Bone Pits, and then enter the Bone Pits and look for the ritual and fight the dual boss battle for the Mastodon Tusks. Once defeated, we're going to port back to town and talk to Zara, then use the map again and travel to Keth. In Keth, we're going to be searching for the Lost City. Once we enter, we're going to search in there for the burial shrines, and then again we are going to search for the Heart of Keth. Here we will defeat Asarian, the Forsaken Sun. Afterwards, walk into the adjacent room and talk to the Water Goddess, then click the Ever-Burning Cinders, and then come back over to ignite the Water Goddess. Now don't leave right away, this takes a second, but after she burns, she's going to drop an Essence of Water. Make sure you pick that up before leaving. Now we're going to port back to town, talk to Zara, use the desert map again, and travel to the Valley of the Titans. Here we're going to find 3 ancient seals. They're going to be located on the outside edge of the map. Keep an eye out for the altar and waypoint here, generally hidden in the center of the map and sometimes on the outside. This isn't required, but if you picked up relics earlier while doing the previous steps, you can get them out of your inventory and grab an easy buff here. Once you do find the 3 ancient seals, we're going to travel back to the clasped hand entrance. If you found it earlier, you can get there via checkpoint. If not, it's going to be sort of in the center of the map. Once those open, enter the Titan Grotto, and we're going to be looking for the Colossus. We're going to defeat the Colossus and make sure and grab the Flame Ruby when it drops before porting to town. In town, we're going to talk to Zara and take the horn from her, then go through and talk to Asala, use the map, and travel back to the Halani gates. At the Halani gates, we're going to go up to the top of the caravan and use the horn to clear the sandstorm. Then we're going to talk to Asala and use the map to travel to Dashar. Here we're just going to search for the Path of Mourning entrance, and then we are going to search for the Spires of Dashar entrance, and then we are going to find and defeat the giant skeleton Tor Gul. After defeating him, we can immediately port back and speak to Asala. Then we are going to use the desert map and travel to the Dreadnought. Note that there is a huge difficulty spike when you enter the Dreadnought, so if ever there was a time to farm some gear or do some trading and power up a bit, now would be that time. We're going to fight through the Dreadnought and find the entrance to the Vanguard, and then we're going to fight through the Vanguard and find and finally defeat Jamanra. Once you finish this 2-part battle, he will kind of stand there and you speak to Asala on the ground and she will decapitate him, and then speak to her again and port to town. In town, we're going to walk off the caravan and speak to the Hooded One, and then we're going to go back to the caravan and talk to Asala, and we can travel to Act 3. So that's it for Act 2. I feel like Act 2 can be a little confusing with all the trial stuff in the way, but all of that stuff is actually optional. I think it kind of makes it a little easier when you break it down like this because it shows you that it's actually quite linear if you remove the trial stuff. I like to complete all of the required stuff like this for Act 2 and then go back and finish the trials because then I'm a little leveled up and the trials are way easier. Anyway, before I head out, I did want to mention that if you're trying to grab all the stats and quest rewards from the entire campaign, I do have a separate guide that goes over every stat bonus and quest reward and how to obtain them. It's called Path of Exile 2 Campaign Rewards Guide, how to get all stat bonuses and quest rewards. There should be a little card showing it at the top of the screen here. If you're trying to be as efficient as possible with an alt or something, I recommend you finish this series of guides and then go back and grab all of the stat bonuses that you missed with my other guide. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching the whole thing. Consider liking it if it was helpful to you, and subscribe for the Act 3 part, and I will see you in the next video.